Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk quarterbacks, y'all. If you ask Mr. Quarterback Love himself, Dan Orlovsky, he is agreeing. Dan tweeted after the Lions win that Jared Goff is joining the 7 other QBs he thinks are playing on a different level than others. We'll go to Dan Orlovsky first. Which quarterback to you is playing the best right now in the entire national
So mad.
I gave you a list, man. Why you got to ask
You
me
put
for
half
one?
the league on that list.
That's not half the league. It's 7. That's a quarter of the league. I got to pick the one.
Top 10 up.
I got to pick one.
Y'all do remember, hold on. Y'all do remember that, last year, coming into the season, Dan Orlovsky is on camera. I think Dallas is one of the top teams. If you take out and he named 7 or 8 teams, he said, I think they'll be just fine. This is the same Dan Orlovsky who did that. So just keep that in mind when you look at this list.
One,
go ahead.
He's so torn right now.
Take your time.
if I had to pick one right now, I'm going to be
fail
shocked.
a test just because you took too damn long to answer questions.
I think I'm going to say Daniel Jones.
Woo!
Wow.
Not mad at it.
I think
He is playing great.
The Colts
He's
in
playing
3
great.
games, they've punted once. He
Not bad.
hasn't given the ball away. He's playing great under pressure, which is something that has been his kryptonite. I think if they win this weekend against the Rams and it's a heavyweight fight, I think he's going to sit at the top of the MVP list. So if I had to pick one, and again, this is the group that I like, I'd probably pick Daniel Jones.
Can you disagree with someone and say that they're not wrong?
I don't know about that.
That's too many words for my
Try.
brain.
Get creative. Because I don't know if you can.
Because it's Justin Herbert. And no matter which way you try to shift it, he is ultimately talented. We've known that. We've actually seen him play really well in the regular season. But what Greg Roman has now heaped on to Justin Herbert, what's expected of Justin Herbert, how Justin Herbert has shown up in the most important moments. Think back to week 1 against Kansas City, hits the big play to Quentin Johnston, and then to seal the deal, he gets outside of Chris Jones and finishes. You said yourself, it's probably one of the best throws we've seen in the last 2 years, right? Not only the escape in the pocket, have someone bearing down on you, but you also hit Keenan Allen in the end zone with as tight a coverage as there possibly could have been from Riley Moss. This team walked into this season and heading into the second year in San Francisco, we watched Jim Harbaugh go to the Super Bowl, right? Win the NFC Championship. So you're expecting that change. I thought it was going to be physicality and defense. And Greg Roman said, nah, Justin Herbert,
the best
go ahead on and take it.
Yeah.
And I've seen it.
I don't disagree with you.
The hard part about answering this question now is there's so few games, right? So some quarterbacks have faced easier competition. Like Josh and Jalen Hurts have done so well with what's in front of them and what's been asked of them.
Yes.
Matthew Stafford, I think, week 1 was amazing. A little bit less so in this last week. I'm with Ryan. I think it's Herbert. Because this last game against the Denver Broncos defense, to me, even though the numbers may not blow you away, was one of the single most impressive quarterbacking performances.
Because he was under duress.
He had Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper in his lap the entire game. He had the most tight window throws of any quarterback. Every throw was difficult, and he executed. He is why they won that game. And so if you consider the competition, the level of difficulty, the highlight reel throws, it's Herbert for me too.
And not only that, he's moving methodically. What are we talking about here? We're talking about 29 first downs. You're talking about having a 12.5-minute time of possession advantage. It's not like it's just a big play. He's methodically chipping you apart as well. And that's when you know that level of consistency that you see from a quarterback on the field, it could go a long way. Why did you have Baker Mayfield at the top? I'm just asking, that list right there.
It's just the first name I put up there.
Oh, it's not a ranking.
I was just making sure that you weren't.
Baker's been ridiculous.
Hey, you know how they got the
but it's
X-ray?
against the Jags.
You know how they got the X-ray where they show what's inside the person and they have the dog in there? Yeah, that's Baker Mayfield, dog.
Hold on, I'm not going to let you get away with that.
No. Baker Mayfield has been great. I think he's been great in Tampa for the last couple of years.
Point period blank. You don't got to couch you with.
I will say this though.
Don't tell
how about
me
this,
how to
Dan?
do TV.
You don't got to couch you with the.
The team that wins and the quarterback that plays the best in this matchup this weekend, to me, will have the credentials to be a part of this conversation.
Mayfield versus Hurts.
Mayfield versus Hurts.
Any issue with us not mentioning Jalen Hurts, considering that in every game, in the games that he has started and finished, he has won 17 straight. And by the way, we saw Drew Brees come on this show Tuesday and said he didn't even mention Jalen Hurts because you know what, their offense is so boring in Philadelphia. I don't know which way to go, considering when you bring something like that up.
He's been great. He has done what is required of him until this this last game, he had like 2 throws over 10 yards. That's not to say he's not capable of doing more. But when you are trying to rank these quarterbacks, you have to consider the difficulty of the circumstances, their surroundings. He has been in a much easier situation than most of the other quarterbacks.
I think this is you have to put Hurts in a small group because we have enough evidence that when the chips are on the line and everything's out there, like he gets it done. And I went through a period where I didn't love the way it looked all the time, and I was a little bit of a doubter, certainly a hater. And I've gotten to the point where I'm like, dude, he just figures out the way to get it done. And so I think while you look at the list of quarterbacks and you're going, well, is he really as impressive as Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or a Justin Herbert? Like, no, but he wins more or as much as them, if not more than them. So like you have to put him in there. I think the guy's name is interesting. Like, bro, if Lamar won the other night, we would have Lamar at 1. Lamar's having
Lamar's bonkers. But like we see that all the time.
We're getting used to it.
Yeah, like you get desensitized to like the Lamars and the Patricks and the Joshes. Here's what I'll say about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts needed last weekend.
Yes.
Right? He needed that sort of game, not in the sense of just how he performed. He needed that pressure because there's very few quarterbacks that could have the 2 Super Bowls that Jalen Hurts has and be critiqued and picked apart and criticized and downgraded the way that Jalen Hurts is in large circles because of the way it looks.
Right.
And because he doesn't seem to say that if we can win, I'd rather do something else. In the sense of, if we can win running it, I don't feel like he will go to the coach and go, yeah, I know we can win if we give it this, but I'm not getting enough throws. Yeah. He's comfortable winning that way.
I agree with you, and I agree with you about Justin Herbert. I will say this about Daniel Jones. The one thing it has me thinking about is that if he continues to look the way that he looks, was it really about him? Is it about Jackson Dart, or is it about the Giants organization? Because if Daniel Jones continues to look this way, what the hell was going on in these front of the
I think it's more about Indy.
I got you.
And the Giants organization. You mentioned at the very beginning, should there be more heat on Joe Schoen? When I'm watching Daniel Jones, all I'm thinking about is the Giants GM and the terrible situation they put him in and how bad the offensive line was and the lack of offense at times around him.
Got you.
Starts with O. Do you ever say the full last name?
That's a great question.
I just noticed that because we have 2 name and then O's on today. Dan O and Ed O. Patsy.
It doesn't really work as well.
No.
Patsy?
But am I right about that? Who with the last name that starts with O, do you say their full last name?
I'm trying to think of other people I know with the last name O.
Pat, go ahead while we think of that.
So I noticed top of the show today, we talked about Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh, deservedly so, but we failed to mention Kyle Schwarber. I'm sure that was just a clerical error.
I mentioned him.
By Nuno. What'd you say?
We did mention.
I mentioned him.
We did mention Kyle Schwarber.
Okay, but we didn't talk about Kyle Schwarber. But don't worry, that's why I'm here. Here was Kyle Schwarber's 56 home run yesterday on Sports Radio 94 WIP.
And it's swung on, rocketed to right, high and deep, and on its way into the second deck. No doubter from Schwarber, his second of the night. Kyle Schwarber with home run number.
If the Phillies get robbed of an MVP out of Kyle Schwarber, they'll win the World Series.
But don't you think the fact that Ohtani does as much as he does?
They're 5-9 in games he pitches.
But
they lose two-thirds of the time he pitches games.
I don't think you can look at it.
Yeah, but he had a hell of a game the last time out against
but it puts so much pressure on their bullpen, and people just want to ignore that. He pitches 5 innings. That's what your 5th starter does. If you get 5 innings out of a 5th starter, that's great. But it puts so much pressure on their bullpen that they lose 2/3 of the time he pitches.
But it saves you a roster spot elsewhere.
The MVP isn't who has the most roster spots saved.
I understand, but the word value is obviously in there. That's a value.
So then does he win?
you.